Hello. Welcome to another section of the one and only Ruby. This chapter is called The Round Bird. By evening, we were all exhausted, but before sleep, Jabori and I always had the same ritual. It involved the silly thing Jabori insisted on wearing on top of his head, a baseball cap. Of course, back then I didn't know it was called a baseball cap. I just knew it was fun to steal. It worked like this. Jabori would bend down and lean close for a hug, and I would wrap my trunk around his shoulders. Then, just as he pulled away, I would snatch his cap and toss it in the air towards Odongo. It was a pretty good flyer, like a round bird. Odongo would grab the cap when it landed and sometimes even catch it, then run to a corner and bury it in the hay. I sure loved that game. Jabori pretended to be annoyed, but I think he loved it too. Left behind. One hazy hot morning, I had to stay behind in my cage at the nursery while the others went out for their daily walk. I'd stepped on an acacia thorn the day before, and my right front foot was sore and swollen. Jabori fed me, tended to my foot, and kissed the top of my head. He said some words, then held up a finger, which I'd learned meant, "Wait here, I'll be back soon." I watched him go and made a pouty face. "Some of the keepers are sick, I hear," said Odongo, who was sniffing through the hay for any interesting food. "Jabori has to help out." "I'm stuck here all day," I complained, "but at least you and I can play." "Sorry, no can do," said Odongo. "I've got to search for breakfast. Some of us have to work for our food." I watched him slip through a hole in the wood. "See you soon," I called. I had no idea how wrong I was. A hint of smoke. The morning wore on. I tried to sleep, but I didn't want to. I built a little tower with pieces of hay, but it was boring. I listened for other elephants or keepers, but the place was strangely quiet. When I first noticed it, I thought I was imagining things. Maybe one of the keepers was cooking something. Maybe someone was smoking one of those awful smelling cigarette thingies. Although why a human would do that was beyond me. But I wasn't imagining things. It was smoke. The kind of smoke that Grandmama had warned me about. The kind that meant danger. I trumpeted loudly to get someone's attention. Nothing. I called for Odongo to warn him. Nothing. I checked the sky, but there wasn't anything to see. Not yet, anyway. Why weren't the caretakers panicking? Didn't they smell what I smelled? But of course they didn't. Mamma had told me once that humans can't detect scents nearly as well as elephants can. Just one of their many flaws, she'd said. "Jabori, where was he?" With the other babies on their walk, had any of them sensed the danger yet? I pushed hard on the door to my cage. It didn't budge. I inhaled deeply. I wasn't wrong. There was smoke in the air, maybe even more of it. I ran hard against the door. One, two, three times, nothing. I turned around and aimed for the back of the cage where the wood was a bit splintered and warped. Bam, bam, bam! On my fourth try, I barreled through. I was outside. I was free. And I was alone. But now what? Panic. The smell of smoke is a different kind of smell. It's alive. You can taste it in your trunk, in your mouth, and even deep inside you. I know it wants to hurt you. I was panicking and I knew it, but I couldn't stop myself. Maybe it was because I was so little. Maybe because I'd already been through so much. But with every breath, all I could hear was Grandmama in my head. Danger, danger, danger. I wanted to find Jabori, to warn Odongo, to herd the other elephants and caretakers to safety, but where were they? By this time of day, they'd be several miles out, foraging. and with my hurt foot, it would take forever to reach them. Maybe if I could find a caretaker close by and alert him, that would work. But the area was strangely deserted, probably because so many of them were sick today. I spun around, frantic to find someone, anyone. At the top of a small rise were a few cabins where some of the workers lived. It wasn't too far, and maybe from that height I could see Jabori and the others. I ran as fast as I could, which was not very. The whole way there, all I could think of was danger, 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 like some horrible song that wouldn't end. The cabin. By the time I reached the top of the hill, my foot was throbbing, and smoke was clearly visible, billowing in the air. I paused, trying to catch my breath, and looked around me. I could see the orphanage at the bottom of the hill, but I couldn't find Jabori and the other elephants and caretakers. 3 cabins sat side by side. When I pushed with my trunk on the door of the first one, it swung open easily. I stepped inside, hoping to find one of the workers, but the place was silent. I'd never been in a human habitat before. It wasn't possibly big compared to the place where Jabori and I slept each night, and filled with strange objects. Obstacles were everywhere, soft and oddly shaped like weird bushes. The floor had no hay at all. One room smelled of human food. In another room, blankets stretched across a flat expanse raised off the floor. I saw a pillow like the one Jabori liked to place his head on when he wasn't using me for a pillow. The panic was tightening in my chest. Danger, danger, danger. I delivered my loudest ever trumpet. Maybe someone would hear me. Maybe someone would wonder why a baby elephant was in a cabin built for humans. But nobody answered, and nobody came. The fire. I ran to the back room. Jabori! Danger! Help! I knew I wasn't thinking clearly, but the air was growing gray with smoke, and when I peered out the window, I could see flames heading up the hill. All right, we're going to stop here, and then the next part we'll learn what happens to the fire. Thanks for listening today. Bye.